Hello and welcome. My name is Eva Dunlap Lewis, and I'll be guiding you through your Communities Connect engagement platform training. Let's get started. We ready to go?
Yes.
Me too. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started, a few reminders. I am using Redwood Terrace Connect on my computer through the downloaded application Cubigo. As we know at this point in our training, the screen that we see when we open up Redwood Terrace Connect will look different depending on the device that we're using. iPhone and iPad users, your screen will look the most different from what I see here. If you're following along with an iPhone or an iPad, at certain times you'll be prompted to just listen to what I say, to listen to my voice, so that you'll be given the right steps. Because as I mentioned, I'm using the computer version. So what you see, iPhone and iPad users, will look a little bit different than what I see. Also, I am using Redwood Terrace Connect as an administrator. I have special powers. These icons down the left side of my screen, you wonderful residents, you guys don't even have to put up with these icons. They're my burden, not yours. So don't fret when you see these. They are not visible on the resident screen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Today, we are going to be talking about the committee's cube and viewing the dining menu. As always, if this is your first time watching this training, I recommend that you keep your eyes up here on my screen and just pay attention to what I'm doing. Allow your mind the time to absorb the steps and get used to the process. When we do our follow-up trainings, we'll have time to practice, but those follow-up trainings are not recorded. This video was taken on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 2022. So for those of you watching in the future, I hope it's a great future, but you may be aware that there will be certain changes that are likely visible on your screen and aren't reflected on my screen, because Redwood Terrace Connect is a platform that we use to continuously convey new and up-to-date current information from team members to residents. So if you're watching this anytime in the future, my screen may look a little bit different if new information has been added. Just wanted to make that obvious for those of you watching in the future. Let's jump right in. We'll talk about the dining cube, but before we get to the dining cube, we're going to talk about viewing the dining menu. And there's two places that we can view the dining menu, right? Who knows what they are?
Dining is one.
Dining is one, that's right. What's the other one? The home page. We can view the menu for our dining room straight from the home page. Okay, if we scroll down the home page, we get to the dining menu. Please be aware, if you're using the iPhone or the iPad, then you won't see this menu that I'm showing. Instead, you guys, iPhone and iPad users, will see two images, a lunch image and a dinner image. The lunch image is a sandwich. The dinner image looks like a nice little taco salad. It's making me hungry just looking at it. So viewing the menu is really mainly visible from the computer, the browser, or the Android version. If we want to see the menu on the iPhone or the iPad, then we would have to click or tap one of those images, either the sandwich or the taco salad. And that would take us to a screen very similar to what I see here. Now let's break this down. I'm first going to describe how it looks on an iPhone or an iPad. So what I'm describing now will not reflect this information up here, okay? iPhone and iPad users, if you're following along at this point from the home page, you have tapped on either the sandwich or the taco salad. And now you're looking at a screen where you see at the very top it says menu, and then you'll see the month and the year, which for us today is May 2022. Under that, you see S, M, T, W, T, F, S. What does that stand for?
The days of the week.
The days of the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So underneath those numbers, underneath those letters, you'll see the corresponding number to the date. And May is an easy one because Sunday was the 1st. Underneath that, you'll see lunch and dinner. Let's go back to those numbers though, and again, I'm not showing it on my screen up here. I'm just describing what iPhone and iPad users are seeing first. You guys, you could tap under one of those letters or hit one of those numbers, and it would change the view of the menu, allowing you to go to a different day. So if you hit under T3 for Tuesday the 3rd, you could see a different day on that menu. You can also switch between hitting the word lunch to see the lunch menu and hitting the word dinner to see the dinner menu. Does anybody in here know how often are your dining menus updated? Looks like I start seeing blank days on Sunday. So maybe a week in advance. That's your cutoff date. You won't be able to see past that. So I don't know what day they're actually uploaded, but usually the maximum days ahead are 7 or 6. Now, those of you using the iPhone and iPad to get out of that screen, you can hit the word done in the top right corner. And you'll be taken back to the home page. Time for me to talk about what we see up here on the computer, Android, and browser version. I can see my menu from the home page. All I have to do is scroll down. I see the words dining menu. And then I see this left arrow. What does this arrow do?
It should be yesterday.
It'll show me yesterday. So what does this arrow do?
The next day, which is today.
And the next day, which since I hit yesterday, is today. So you can go back in time or forward in time using these arrows. We can also toggle between viewing the lunch menu. Ooh, what's a blueberry buckle?
You have to come and find out.
Oh, come on, I'll never make it. I can switch between the day using the arrows, and I can switch between the meal using these filters up here. And the information will change. This is what the menu looks like when we view it from the home page. We can also, on the iPhone and the iPad and on the computer, we can find the dining cube, which is a green cube with a fork and knife. And we can click or tap on that cube, and we're taken to the main page of dining. In here, the menu looks exactly the same and functions exactly the same as it does on the home page. iPhone and iPad users, you're going to see the menu for lunch, which looks like that sandwich icon, and the icon for dinner, which looks like that taco salad. Tapping either one of those will get you to the menu view where you can change the date or you can change the meal between lunch and dinner. The rest of us, we can use these arrows to change the date. And we can hit lunch to view the lunch menu or dinner to view the dinner menu. And we usually can see a maximum of 6 days in advance. If I look at Saturday, Sunday, so it looks like I'm cut off at Sunday. Perhaps they load these every Saturday. That's what I would guess. I can quickly get back to today on the computer version by hitting return to today. Over time, more information will be available to you on this main page of dining. You'll probably see information about hours of operation, how to view your points. You might see any information to staff changes, new staff, and various information about any construction or renovations in either of the dining rooms. Maybe even a menu list of always available, or the PDF version of the dining menu that you guys receive in your mailbox. That might be found here. In the future, you'll be able to place orders online in this cube.
What does that mean to place orders?
Placing orders for delivery or pickup for yourself and your partner, and also checking points. So it will be connected to the full count system in the future.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. To get out of this cube, I will hit home in the menu. And I'm not talking about a food menu, I'm talking about a computer menu, which is usually options. Home in the menu on iPhones and iPads is in the bottom left. And for the rest of us, home is at the top of the screen. I hit home and I am home. The committees cube is a purple cube with an icon of 3 people. We can click or tap this cube when we find it, and we'll be taken to the main page of committees. This cube is managed by, I believe the resident's name was Jack. Is that correct?
Yes.
So Jack has special administrator access. Jack, are you in the room today?
Yes.
Nice, thank you, welcome. So Jack has special administrator access so that he's the main man that actually posts information onto this cube. On this cube, as of today's date, we have the following options. We have the Activity Committee, Finance Committee, Food Committee, Grounds and Safety Committee, Hospitality Committee, Library Committee, Resident Council, and Sunshine Committee. Are these all the committees currently available at Redwood Terrace?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. Each of these items found on this page is considered clickable text, meaning that if we want to know more about any of these pieces of information, about any of this text, we can click it or tap it and it will show us more information. However, as always, the process is different on an iPhone or an iPad. If we click the Activities Committee on an iPhone or an iPad, then it takes us to an entirely new page. We're viewing it independently. If we click it on the computer, Android, or browser version, it just drops down information. It reveals information. On my screen up here, I'm still on that main page of resident committees. I can scroll down and I can still see all of those other committees. But if you clicked Activity Committee on the iPhone or the iPad, then you're on that individual Activity Committee page where you see all of the attachments available and associated with the Activity Committee. On this page, there are 6 attachments. On the iPhone and iPad version, the attachments appear in blue text. And on my screen, they're just in bold text. Somebody remind me, what the heck is an attachment?
A file or document that you can open.
A file or a document that you can open. I like that definition. Attachments are meant to be viewed separately, and they're usually maybe a flyer, a memo, a letter, notes, agendas, minutes. For the majority of the attachments in the activities, in the committees cube, they're going to be minutes or maybe rosters. Jack, do you want to take over for a moment and talk about how you decided to set up the committees cube?
No.
No, okay. All right, then I'll just go through. To me,
I did not set it up, so I can't answer that. I just took over recently.
okay, so I'm putting you on the spot because you're a little new. Don't worry. Then I'll explain it to you, pal.
Thank you.
In the future, you could add more information here. Each of the clickable text, you could put in some subtext here, maybe a mission statement for the activity committee or a mission statement for each committee listed below. You could even put in a roster or some information about the different chairs or officers or members of the committee. But right now it just says activity committee, and then I can see the minutes. On this page, let's stick to the activity committee because I know I've got those iPhone, iPad users just hanging out there. We can click any of that blue text or the bold text, and we can be taken to viewing that attachment as an individual. So on this page, iPhone and iPad users, you guys can zoom in or zoom out. It's really not just iPhone and iPad users. It's anybody using a tablet or a smartphone with a touch screen. You guys can zoom in or zoom out. Zooming in means placing two fingers on the screen together and pulling them apart. Zooming out means placing two fingers apart from one another on the screen and then pulling them together. So zooming in makes the information larger, and zooming out makes the information smaller. For the rest of us, we can use these icons at the top of the page, the minus and the plus. The minus will make it smaller. The plus will make it larger. iPhone and iPad users, you guys don't have that option. You just have to zoom in and zoom out using your fingers. To get out of an attachment, iPhone and iPad users, you can hit the word done in the top left corner. You'll be taken back to the activity committee page where you have to hit the back arrow in the top left corner again to return to the main page of committees. But those of us not using an iPhone or an iPad, to get out of this attachment, we just have to hit that back arrow up here. And we're taken immediately back to the main page of the committees cube. We can repeat that process for all of the attachments on this page. I can choose, Amanda, what was the one you suggested? Was it the Residence Council?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's all go ahead and hit Resident Council. iPhone and iPad users, it takes you to that individual page where you look at a list of everything on the resident council. The rest of us, when we hit resident council, it just expands the information. So it doesn't change the page, it just reveals and expands all those items. So which was the item you were suggesting that we take a look at here, Amanda?
Minutes.
Actually, not the minutes, it would be the one that, can't see from far, hold on.
Members on it?
Yeah, the members, resident council members, probably. Maybe Redwood Terrace resident council docs, resident council docs.
Let's
Maybe
see
that one.
this. Redwood Terrace Resident Council Doc. So if I click this one, these look to me to be guidelines. So I might suggest renaming this document for Redwood Terrace Resident Council Guidelines. I'm going to hit the back arrow or done to get back. So let's see, I'm not seeing anything. Agenda.
It might be all the way beginning.
Yeah, I would suggest, Jack, that once you feel comfortable and you've taken over this role, that you make a uniform way of titling your attachments so that they're in a good chronological order, and that you can kind of have an idea of what you're opening before you open it. Because right now, to me, and no offense to you at all, Amanda, or whoever put this together, but it's a little chaotic. Hard to find certain things.
I said I agree.
So to those of you watching this video in the future, you'll likely have a more organized list of attachments here, and maybe even some extra information explaining the role and the mission of the Residents Council up here. But there's room to grow. The main thing that I'm trying to convey to you all today is that the committee's cube is where you can go for various information about the committees available at your community. You'll likely find information with minutes, agendas, mission statements, and members. And Jack is going to work on reorganizing the face of this cube. For now, let's all go back to the home page. Go ahead and hit home in the menu, which is either at the top or the bottom of your screen. Hit home. And I want to review a very important piece of information here that we initially talked about in our training on the information cube and the news feed. Let's all go to the news feed, which is found by hitting news in the menu. hit news in your menu. The news feed is where we can find important information posted by our community team members. And news will flow from newest at the top to oldest. So to view more news, we scroll down, right? Each post is categorized. This might be familiar if you remember that training on the news feed. So this post right here is categorized as corporate. Under the title, I see corporate. The next one, we scroll down under the title, its category is activities. The next one, the category is also activities. Another reminder that if you're scrolling through your news feed watching this in the future, your categories might be different because you're likely looking at different news. Let's do one more. We scroll down, and that one was also activities. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, at the top of our news feed, so if we scroll back up to the top, we have this option that says category, show all. If we hit where it says show all, we get some options. We get some categories. And one of those categories is committees. And if we select committees, then it's only going to show us posts that are relevant or categorized as having to do with the committee's cube or committees at our community. In this case, there's no news. Nothing has been categorized this way. Jack will actually be able to post things to the news feed under the committee's cube category. And he'll be very judicious about what he decides to post. We can change the category by going back up to the word category and choosing the category we selected, right? So if I chose committees, I'll hit where it says committees. And I could instead choose this time maybe dining. And now I'm only going to see posts that have to do with the dining at your community. Why is this feature worth mentioning? Can anybody give me a reason?
You're looking for something, perhaps you don't want to go through a bunch of stuff that isn't pertinent.
Yeah, it can be easier to find something that you're looking for if you decide to search by a specific category. Maybe you thought, well, maintenance posted in something important in the last couple months, but I can't remember what it is or where it is. When I choose maintenance, I'm given options from 3 months ago and about a year ago. So rather than scrolling through a year of posts, I can just choose the maintenance category and I can find those because maintenance posts so seldom. If I'd like to go back to all of the categories, I can hit where it says show all. So I go up to category and select the word that I chose as my category, which in this case is maintenance. I tap or click maintenance and choose instead show all. And it takes me back to that original view of the news feed. Kind of cool, right? Yes, Eva, that's the coolest thing I've seen all day. Are there any questions about this feature?
How long would you suggest that the things that are out of date now remain on there?
There should be in an update of Cubigo and Community Connect, there will be a feature added so that your content managers that post on here can set an expiration date. So that if something, let's say they were posting about Easter, they could set it to expire after Easter. But in the past, the only way to get anything off of the news feed has been to go in and just delete it. But in the future, your team members will be able to set an expiration date for posts.
Thank you.
You're welcome. To leave the news feed, we can go to our menu, either at the top or the bottom of the page, and hit where it says home. And we'll be taken back to the home page of Redwood Terrace Connect. Thank you so much for watching. Please rewatch if you need to, and I'll see you soon.